Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, it's Matty here, and today we have something a little bit different. Per popular request, a lot of people have been commenting in all of the videos over the last week or two, asking what website am I using to sort of analyze all of these decks, to take a look at the metagame, to play online tournaments for Pokemon TCG Pocket. So today, I'm going to be giving a little bit of a tutorial video talking about the Play.Limitless platform, that is play.limitless.com, and talk a little bit about it, how you can register for tournaments, talk about the process, talk about the website just in general, and showcase what we can do here on this awesome website that I've been using for years. So the first thing that you're going to notice here is if you go to play.limitless.com is that this is a website for a lot of different things, not just the Pokemon trading card game Pocket. We also have the official Pokemon trading card game that you can play on Pokemon TCG Live. We have the Pokemon VGC video game, and then other TCG games as well, like the One Piece card game, Digimon, and the Dragon Ball card game as well. So it's not just Pocket. This website is for a lot of different things, but it is one of the best websites to go to kind of do everything you need to do about competing or building decks or sort of discovering the metagame for, you know, whatever kind of TCG that this website supports. That being, of course, in this video, we're talking about Pokemon TCG Pocket. So the first thing that we're going to do here is, of course, just to simplify this video, we're going to be talking specifically about Pokemon TCG Pocket. That's what I'm just going to click right here. If we go ahead and we click onto Pokemon TCG Pocket, this is going to show us basically all of the tournaments that are active at the moment. By the way, the link will be down in the description below this website. I actually put a link to Play.Limitless in the description of all of my videos, so it's always down there. You might have noticed it before, but this will be a little bit of a tutorial video. I'll sort of showcase the website just a little bit. I actually have been using Limitless for quite a long time, back when I used to host and run my own Pokemon TCG tournaments. I kind of actually remember back when this website was first created, we were using different platforms at the time, and this website absolutely changed the game. It's so great. But anyway, so what we did at that homepage is we clicked on Pokemon TCG Pocket, and here we see there's different tabs at the top here. There's your dashboard. When you log in, you're going to have sort of your own player dashboard. Right now it says that I'm not currently registered for any tournaments, but if I was, it would sort of showcase some of that to me. And here we have all of our different settings and stuff that we can play with. But here in the tournament tab under Pokemon TCG Pocket, we have everything sort of filtered already, as we can see here. And these are all of the tournaments that are currently in progress. We have the Dark League right here. We have the Paldea Pro League. All of these different tournaments, it shows the organizer and how many players are competing in this tournament. And then over the next 7 days, these are tournaments that haven't started yet, but these are all tournaments that we could actually register for. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that in just a second. But yeah, so in here, basically what we can do is we can take a look at all of the most relevant tournaments, which is sort of what we're looking at here. We can just focus on upcoming tournaments, and we can kind of scroll through. People are kind of posting their tournaments very far in advance, as you see, 2-3 weeks ahead of time. So, you can plan ahead of time and register for tournaments pretty far in advance. And then here, if you go to the completed tab, you can look at all of the recently completed Pokemon TCG Pocket tournaments. Now, the upside really is that Pokemon TCG Pocket, the community is massive right now. And since the game is new, everything's fresh, there's a lot of players, a lot of people that are hosting tournaments for Pokemon TCG Pocket, which is phenomenal. That means that there's basically, at any day, at any point in time, there is some sort of a tournament that you can join and compete to some degree, which is really great. As we can see here on January 1st, there was 4 tournaments. On the 30th, there was like 10 different tournaments here. But this in the completed tab, we can kind of go and take a look. This is what we do every week to take a look at the current metagame. For example, we could go ahead and we can take a look at this tournament with 665 players, and we can go ahead and it'll go ahead and this initially will just show us the standings for the tournament. We can do sort of the combined standings as we see here, and it shows all of the players, all of the different deck lists and their records as well. You can kind of click on the deck to go to the menu for the overall archetype, or you can go ahead and click on the list here that this player was playing, and then we can go ahead, we can actually copy it to clipboard if we wanted to copy and paste this list for any particular reason. We can open it in Deck Builder, which we'll showcase in a little bit, or you could open it as an image, which oftentimes I'll do to kind of showcase decks visually in my videos, right? So again, a really great tool. So for visualizing different decks and how they function, I love it. It's one of the best reasons about one of the best things about Play.Limitless, basically, as well. Now, we can actually go into this player and see all of the matches that he played. This player particularly played 12 matches, only lost 1, which was to Pikachu and Substrike, which is very impressive for sure. But then we can actually go into his deck list, and we can actually, where is it actually? So let's go back. We'll go back to our initial menu, because I believe what we can do is we can select the archetype here. So this is Executor and Celebi EX. So if we select this, this is actually going to show us all of the players in this tournament that were playing Celebi. and Executor EX. So this is sort of the page in which we can view the overall archetype and how it performed in this tournament, which is really great. We see all the players and their records for this, people that were playing this deck, how many players in total, 27. Then we can go to the matchups here and we can take a look at all of the different matchups. We can filter by the most common, and here, this is just such a great tool for us to get a great view of the metagame. You can look into matchups, how some decks perform against other decks, how the meta is shifting. I use this all the time basically to kind of, formulate my opinions, but also my strategies in the videos that I make, talking about, what are the best decks to play and what the overall metagame looks like. So definitely really, really cool. So the other thing, before we get into how to register for a tournament, I just want to showcase some of the tools that Play.Limitless has, other than just, running and hosting tournaments. So we can go into the Decks tab here, and we can actually filter. So if we go to Pokemon TCG Pocket under the Decks tab, we can actually just take a look at the overall sort of metagame here. As we see, so we can select the set for Mythical Island, which is or Genetic Apex, but that's sort of the format, right? So in the last kind of 2 or 3 weeks of Mythical Island, this is the summary of all of the decks and their statistics over the last, since Mythical Island came out. We see 85 different tournaments, 17,000 total players, and 40,000 total matches. So if you ever wanted sort of to look at how things are as the largest sample size possible, this is the best way to do it. Again, I look at this every day, every week or so, basically, and I kind of take a look at what decks are, what they're kind of up to. It's going to filter initially by overall meta share, as we see Mewtwo's the most popular. But if we filter by win rate, we can actually see here some very valuable information. I'm not going to go ahead. This isn't a meta video. If you want a meta update, go check out my last video where we kind of talked a little bit more about the metagame. But yeah, as we can see here, newer decks like Aerodactyl and Primeape, Farfetch'd and Hitmonlee, Aerodactyl, Farfetch'd, Executor, and Mew EX, and Executor and Celebi are decks that aren't necessarily all the most played, but they are having phenomenal win rates here. So this is a great, again, another great way to kind of focus on and determine sort of what the best decks are, basically. So here's the other thing that I want to do, right? The deck builder. This is something that's pretty important. You're going to want to be able to use the deck builder tool. This video might be a little bit out of sorts. It's not, I'll do some editing, but for the most part, we're just sort of flying through, and we're going to take a look at all of the different tools that, this website has for us to work with here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go into like the Paldea Pro League. You can go to this, this tool many different ways, but basically we're gonna do it by going through here, right? So let's go to the standings. Just for an example, we'll take a look at Gyarados and Greninja. We'll take a look at this player's list, and then here we can do Open and Deck Builder. So Deck Builder is a great tool that Limitless provides, which basically gives us the ability to build a deck list on their website, and then we can kind of copy and export it because when you register for a tournament, a lot of times you have to submit your deck list. So this is kind of the best way to go ahead and do that. Let's see here. So we can go ahead, we can search for a card. We can just say like Gyarados. We'll do that. These are the different Gyarados cards that come through, and we can add them to the deck, and we can basically build out our deck however we would like. And as we see here, this deck is already completed, but basically you would go through, you would sort of, copy and paste or recreate the deck that you're playing on your phone in Pokemon TCG Pocket or your tablet, and then you would basically rebuild it here in Play.Limitless so that we have sort of an export of our deck that we could copy and paste it into our tournament registration to sort of showcase what we're doing here. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to save this. We're going to go here. We're going to copy as text. You can also download the image. You can show the statistics. I mean, there's so many different tools that we can do here. So I'm not going to go too much in depth, but I just wanted to, again, showcase one of the main sort of ways that we're going to be able to sort of edit and create deck lists in Play.Limitless, because again, it is going to be fairly important. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to tournaments here, and then now we're going to showcase what it's like to register for a tournament. So just for an example, we're going to try to register here for the Frog EX Weekly Cup #1. It's actually, I think, the first Frog EX tournament, which is pretty cool, but it's a pretty large tournament. There's already almost 1,000 people registered. It's free entry. A lot of these tournaments are going to be free to enter. Some of them do require that you pay a small sum of money to enter into the tournament, and that money goes into the overall prize pool. But the great thing about Pokemon TCG Pocket is because it's so popular right now and there's so many great tournament organizers, there's actually a lot of ways to compete in these online tournaments for a chance to win cash prize money without having to pay any money to enter. There's a lot of free entry tournaments, this one being one of them. The prize pool here, again, we'll take a look in a second. Actually, you can view the details of the tournament, and this gives sort of all of the breakdown. So If you ever get confused, definitely go to the details tab of whatever tournament you're trying to register for. Read through it, and you'll get an idea of sort of how the tournament works. As we can see here, so deck list submission, you have to submit your deck through Limitless. You'll only be able to use this deck list for the entire tournament. So of one deck, you kind of enter it in, and then that's what you play throughout the tournament. There's a check-in before the tournament, basically. So an hour before, you can go on to play that Limitless. You go into your dashboard tab here at the top. We'll show that after. And it allows you to basically check in for the tournament to let the tournament organizer know that you are here and that you will be competing. Even if you register but you don't check in, you'll just, not be sort of entered into the tournament, and you don't have to compete even if you register. And then as we see, most tournaments are kind of constructed in the same sort of way. They're going to be primarily starting with Swiss rounds, which is basically round after round. You get sort of paired up depending on your record. There's going to be a certain number of Swiss rounds depending on the number of players. And basically that can either be best of 1 or best of 3 series where you get paired up against sort of a random opponent. You play them, best of 3, and then whoever wins that, basically you're going to enter the record, basically. If you win or lose the match, there's a separate menu that you go into to kind of select whether or not you won or lost. There's also a chat menu for you to communicate with your opponent, to share each other's usernames so you can add each other in the game to play your matches. And then whether you win or whether you lose, you got to make sure that you're entering in basically the results for your match in the pairings menu. We can't necessarily showcase that because we're not competing in the tournament right now, but it's fairly self-explanatory. But again, you want to make sure that you're checking in for the tournament, that you check in for your matches, and that you report the results of your match. That way you get credit for your win or your loss, basically, is what we want to do. A lot of it is going to be spelled out here in the tournament description. But yeah, so most of the tournament at the beginning is going to be Swiss rounds until a certain amount. And then the top 8 or top 16 players go into sort of the top cut. It goes into sort of a single elimination bracket, and that's where they kind of play to see who actually wins the tournament. So that's typically the structure that most of them happen. Here we can see some rules that they put in about ties or connection issues or streaming. So every tournament's going to be a little bit different, but you want to read through the details of the tournaments and get an idea of basically what the rules are and how you should be following up with these tournaments for sure. As we can see, no bullying allowed, contacting the judges, all of this good stuff that's important to read through before you participate. And here we can see we're pleased to announce a free weekly Pokemon TCG Pocket Tournament, so this is great. I would suggest that you participate in all of these tournaments because, again, the more people that are playing, the more sort of activity that is happening within the game, and overall just a really great environment that we get to create, which is really, really fun. So if we go down here, we're actually going to see here a tournament structure. For this tournament, there's 8 different rounds of best of 3 Swiss. It's a 35-minute round timer and 4-minute round check-in, which means basically when the round begins, you have 4 minutes to check into your match and then start playing, or else you'll sort of be disqualified, or not disqualified, but probably given a game loss. And then at the end of the Swiss rounds, the top 16 players will advance into top cut. So that's sort of the details page that gives you an idea of how these tournaments work. As we can see, it's the date, the time, standard Pokemon TCG Pocket format. Now, some tournaments actually aren't sort of standard format. There are some non-EX tournaments, which is really fun. So if you're maybe a free-to-play player, or if you just want to play a format of Pokemon TCG Pocket that's a little bit different than sort of the standard EX format, and you only want to play with non-EX Pokemon, only single prize Pokemon, there are tournaments that have different formats, which is really fun. So it's something to look into for sure. But as we can see here, so there's a Twitch stream that gets played for this tournament, so they'll be live streaming basically the matches as much as they can. But there's also a Discord server. Now this is another important thing. If you're going to compete in these online tournaments, I would highly suggest that you have a Discord account, or that you use Discord, because a lot of times these tournament organizers will sort of require you to be a part of their Discord server, because that's a lot of times where they're going to notify players about any rule changes, or sort of any updates or delays, or disqualifications, or basically when the rounds start or begin. So being in the Discord server oftentimes is a requirement. I don't know if it is for this tournament either, but you can see there is a link to this tournament organizer's Discord. So Discord is a very important tool. It's also a great way for you to get in contact with the tournament organizer or the moderators directly if you need any questions or need any help about registering. I'm sure they're able to answer your questions. Discord is a great tool to basically be a little bit more informed, I guess is what I should say. So it may not be required. Sometimes it is, but yeah, definitely get Discord. It's a great tool for playing in these tournaments for sure. Okay, so let's just go ahead and, here we can actually view the schedule here. So if you wanted to sort of see the timing, the estimated time of sort of the rounds when the tournament begins and sort of when everything's going to happen, this is a great way to do so. As we can see here, actually Top Cut is happening the day after. So this tournament starts on Thursday, January 2nd, but the Top Cut final bracket, if you do make it in, isn't until Friday at 2 p.m. So again, something important to note. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's try to register. So we have our in-game name. My in-game name would be like Matty T. That's my username. We're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna sign in with my full name, which is Madison Tatro. It's not super important, I guess. We'll just do our short name. Okay, here we go. And then we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna register, and registration is successful. It's just that easy. There's nothing else that we really need to use to register. However, it's gonna say that it's reached our participation cap. We still may register, but we will be placed on the wait list, and you'll only be paired if a registered player doesn't show up or the organizer raises the limit. So a lot of times tournaments will put a player limit on their tournament, basically to basically kind of get an idea or an overall general consensus of how many people are going to register. But a lot of times, just because you might be over sort of the registration cap, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to be able to play. I think more often than not, the people organizing the tournament will just raise the player cap, so I wouldn't really worry too much about that. But as we can see, don't forget to submit a deck list before the deadline. So now, if we go into our dashboard up here on the top right, as we can see, this was empty before, but now it shows the tournament that we've registered for. So again, it says we're on the wait list and we have not submitted a deck list. So here's what we're going to do. We can go ahead and just click here, submit our deck list. Very fun. Now this is where that copy and paste sort of aspect comes in. We're basically going to have to build out our deck in Limitless so that we can export it as sort of a text file. As we see, if we copy and paste here, this is sort of the format in which we're entering into the deck list here. It puts in all of the different Pokemon, all of the different trainers, and sort of their set number. It gives us a way, or the website a way rather, to sort of categorize all of those cards. There's no real way to submit your deck list other than doing this. So that deck builder tool that we showed before, it's very important to use so that we can export that deck list as basically, the text that we see here, and then we can copy and paste it into our deck list submission so that when we submit it, here we go. We have it submitted, and we're going to want to make sure that we're playing this exact list in the tournament, or else, you could face disqualification. But you're going to have to submit your deck list most of the time in order to participate, so don't forget to do that for sure. And then again, this tournament will probably have a check-in period, 30 minutes to an hour before the tournament, so we're going to want to make sure we go back to our dashboard and that we check into the tournament. So as we can see here, the tournament doesn't begin for another 1 hour and 4 minutes from when I'm recording this, but check-in opens in 4 minutes, it says. So we'll go to the same page to check into the tournament, and then that way we'll kind of get placed in once the tournament begins. So again, very important to make sure that we check in. I don't want to reiterate that. You won't make it into the tournament unless you check in or submit a deck list, so definitely make sure that you're doing that. So yeah, guys, that was kind of the tutorial video on the Played Out Limitless platform. Link will be down in the description below. Actually, I always link the website down in my video descriptions because it's just a useful tool, and more often than not, I'm actually featuring this website and all of their tools in my videos. I use it all the time. Again, it's a great way to stay informed on the metagame. It's a great way to compete and communicate and interact with the game and other players. So I would highly recommend it. The people that run Limitless.com is phenomenal. So I would highly suggest that you kind of, check it out at the very least. But yeah, a lot of people were commenting on my videos, just, hey, what's this website? Hey, how do I play in these online tournaments? How does this all work? What is this tool? How are you using it? So I figured I would just make a video kind of explaining it a little bit. I don't know how many people are maybe uninformed about this topic or how many people are curious, but I just wanted to make the video so that I had it out there so that I could at least refer to it when people do ask questions. So if you're watching this video, I do appreciate it. If you learned something, that's great. Comment below if you have any additional questions. If there's something that I didn't cover in this particular video, please let me know. I'll perhaps try to answer some of your further questions down in the comment section. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. That's the video. I never know how to end videos, so I just ramble until I don't know what else to say, and then I just say bye, which is probably what we're gonna do here. But anyway, don't forget to like the video, don't forget to subscribe. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned. We're uploading more Pokemon TCG Pocket videos every day, basically. And the support has been phenomenal. In fact, we're almost at 7,000 subscribers, which is absolutely crazy. It's absolutely insane. So yeah, we'll see you guys later. Stay tuned for more videos coming in the future. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Peace out.